This old man, he played one, he played knick-knack on my drum with a knick-knack, paddywhack, gave the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home.
He was a big, tall, old man with short, curly white hair. When he woke up and went down the 4 lots of stairs in his big house, he tripped over a broken white stickle brick that had been left on the living room floor. He fell over with a great big crash and scattered all of the furniture and carpets. He said, "Oh, that untidy girl, she's left all of her things lying around again." He was very sad that his granddaughter had not tidied up after her visit, but he couldn't help noticing that there was a drum lying on the carpet that he had not seen for such a long time. "I must have knocked it over when I fell." He was very curious and remembered that he had been given this pink drum by a short man when he was a boy. It was a very old drum. It had been his favourite drum, and he had not played on it in a long time. He looked about to try and find the sticks he would need to play it, but he couldn't see them anywhere. So he reached inside of the red box that he kept all of his things in and pulled out a pen with no point. "I'll try playing it with this." And he took the pen and started to rattle the thin skin of the old drum. He liked the sound that the drum made, but it wasn't as loud as when he could play it with sticks. As he played, he soon forgot to be sad, and he started to smile as he remembered playing the drum when it was new, when he was a very young boy, a very long time ago. He soon got very hot playing the drum, and he had some orange juice in a paper cup to try and cool himself down.
This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played too. He played knick-knack on my shoe with a knick-knack, paddywhack, gave the dog a bone. This old man came rolling.
He was so hot from playing that he knew that he wanted to go outside and get some fresh air. He pushed his little feet inside of his shiny shoes and wriggled his toes until the shoes were on. He really didn't like walking, but he knew that he should go out on this dark, cold morning to make sure that he could cool down. He went all of the way back up to the top of the house, up the 4 flights of stairs, to go and get his furry black coat. "I might as well have gone all of the way up to heaven to get this coat," he laughed. "It's such a long way up." It was true. His house was so tall that he had 4 flights of stairs that put the top of the old house almost in the thick white clouds. The stairs were long and very squeaky, and they squeaked and creaked on every step as he made his way to go out of the house. The white moon glowed in through the window with its friendly smiling mouth. It was still in the sky on this dark morning, and it made the up and down yellow stars on his coat glisten and gleam as he made his way to the door.
This old man, he played 3. He played knick-knack on the tree with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home.
He looked out of the square window in the middle of his worn wooden door and could see the big cherry tree that grew right beside the door, and it had been growing and growing. It was so big that it had grown around the door. It was filled with green cherries and branches, and it was stuck up against the door. If he wanted to get out, then he was going to have to really push on the door to get out. He pushed hard, and he pushed harder still, and he pushed so hard that the tree broke out of the way, and his coat was ripped and torn on the broken branches of the cherry tree. He liked his clothes to be very smart, and now he felt sad because he had ripped his furry, starry coat on the cherry tree's branches. A hungry dog barked in the street as he looked at his ruined coat.
This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played 4. He played knick-knack on the door with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone.
He still had the drum underneath his arm, and he went outside and closed the dark wooden door of his house behind him. It was so cold that he could see his breath as white as his beard. He still wasn't happy that his coat was ripped, but he wanted to find some sticks to play the drum with, and he couldn't find them in the house. He thought to himself, "If I'm going to go out, I might as well go to the shops." He really didn't like to go walking, But if he was out, then he might as well do as much as he could in one go. He scratched his white beard and he rubbed his head before he put his red hat on, to make sure that he didn't catch cold, and he said, "To cheer myself up, I'm going to go to the new shops and buy myself a pizza. That's what I'm going to do." Now he was smiling and he didn't look so sad. He was going to go down the wide brown streets of the town and buy a pizza. His favourite pizza with cheese, chicken, cherry and chocolate on the top. That was his favourite kind of pizza. Cheese, chicken, cherries and chocolate all together, mixed up together. He was feeling hungry just thinking about all of those things on the pizza. He was thinking that he might eat it all in one go, or he might bring some home. On the ground were cold, puddly, splashy puddles that had been made when the rain had fallen the night before. The ground was soggy wet, and as he looked down into the mud, he could see a golden necklace. It was dusty and dirty, and as he reached to pick it up, his hands got dirty, and he put the necklace down. He didn't like the way that it looked. He didn't like the way it felt. As he was looking at the necklace, he didn't hear the buzzing noise coming from the rest of the green cherry trees.
This old man, he played five. He played knick-knack on the high. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home.
On the ground there were lots of dirty sticks beside the muddy puddles. It was a spooky street, all dark and brown, and even though the sun was coming up, it was cold and a little bit lonely. His breath was like the mist as he spoke. "There might be lions and tigers and bears round here." He took a few steps and thought that the sticks might do to play his drum. Lions and tigers and bears, oh my! As he bent down to look at the muddy sticks, something moved beside him. He roared with fear. "Ah! It's a lion! Ah! It's a bear! Oh, it's a tiger!" He ran quickly this way and that with his arms in the air and made a terrible noise as if he had seen a monster. It wasn't a bear, or a tiger, or a lion. It was a thin, muddy dog. A poodle that had fallen in a puddle. He waved his arms with the dirty sticks in his hand so quickly that he knocked over a beehive full of bees, full of angry bees, full of very angry bees indeed. When he got stung, he jumped and looked as if he were dancing as he ran with the muddy poodle by his side.
With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played six. He played knick-knack, picking up sticks. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone.
When he got stung, he didn't feel very well. He was tired out from having to run so fast, and still the bees were chasing him. He didn't know what to do, but he could see round and rectangular sticks lying on the ground, and he snatched them all up and tried to scare the bees away by waving them at them. The dirty muddy poodle was running by his side and barking at the bees to get them to go away, but still they followed the old man. With his long, strong, thin arms, he climbed up into a tree and tied all of the sticks together with his thick, strong shoelaces. When all of the sticks were tied together, they looked like an old witch's broom, and the bees flew away when he waved it at them. He had never had to do such a lot of running, walking and climbing in such a long time, and he panted and gasped as he sat down in the middle of the tree and sighed. When he looked down, he could see the friendly dog lying on the ground, resting its sad head on its paws and looking up at him with its soft, brown, hungry eyes.
This old man, he played seven. He played knick-knack up to heaven. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home.
This old man was quite happy now that he was away from the bees and being stung. His beautiful shoes were now muddy, and before he did anything else, he wanted to wash them. The dog was walking by his side as he made his way home. The only place he could think of going to wash his shiny shoes was his home and in his bathroom. He looked at the dog and said, "Would you like to come to my house? I'm sure we can find something for you to eat. You look very hungry to me." The dog looked up at the tall man, and it was as if it could understand what he was saying, and pushed itself against his leg to show that it was happy. The dog's fur was thick with mud, and it made the old man even muddier, but he didn't mind. He had found a new friend, even if he hadn't had a chance to play his drum.
This old man, he played it. He played knick-knack on the gate with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home.
He was in such a rush to get himself clean that he forgot to take his shoes off, and he forgot to close the door, because the dog left footprints on the carpet, and his shoes dripped mud everywhere in the house. The dog and the man went up the 4 flights of stairs, and when they got to the top, he said out loud, "There you go, me good dog friend, all the way up to the top of the house, almost up to heaven." While he was washing his shoes in the bath that was almost at the top of the house, his mum came in, and she was very angry when she saw all of the dirt and the mud in the house. She decided that she would teach him a lesson, and so she hid inside of his big bedroom cupboard. She was angry that he had trampled mud on his boots up the stairs, but even angrier that he had let the muddy dog leave its paw prints everywhere but the ceiling. When he went past and she could hear the squeaky floorboards, she jumped out and went, "Boo to you! Boo to you! Boo to you and your muddy dog too!" Waving his arms and bouncing on the spot, he got such a fright that he and the dog ran right down the stairs and out of the house. He was scared of his mum when she jumped out at him. He would always be scared of his mum. And now the dog was scared too.
This old man, he played 9. He played knick-knack on a line with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home.
Outside, he could see the small black shiny painted gate in the middle of the white brick walled garden. It was squeaking this way and that, and he knew that he couldn't go back into the house until his mum had stopped being angry. And if he wanted to get the dog something to eat, he would have to find something, somewhere else than his house. As soon as the two of them went through the gate, they could see all of the cows in the farmer's field. They could hear them mooing and mooing their way through all of the grass that was on the white farm. The poodle was tired, hungry and very muddy. But it was the old man who said to the dog, "I have never been so muddy in all of my life. What a day! What a muddy day!" The dog just lay down in another muddy puddle and started to whine and sigh. Just then a voice boomed out behind them. It wasn't his mum, it was the farmer. "Never mind you being muddy, I've never seen her. I've never seen her." And he wasn't sure what kind of a dog it was, as he rubbed his skin that was as white as paper. "I've never seen a dog. I'm pretty sure it is a dog. I've never seen a dog so muddy. You two need to come back to my back door, and I'll give your dog a bone." They followed the farmer in a straight line to his back door. The farmer laughed because the dog was making the wet field dirty, and the cows were moving away from him as he left a black mark all through the grass. "Just look at that line you've made down the middle of my field. I've never seen anything like it in my life. Never seen anything like it." The dog was starting to move quicker towards the white farmhouse because it could tell that there was something good for it to eat inside of the warm building. It was just about to go inside when the farmer raised his hand at the back door. "Oh, no. If you're making my fields dirty, there's no way that I'm letting you inside of my house." The old man got hold of the dog's slippery, slimy back and kept it at the back door. It was a hard job because the dog could tell exactly what was behind the farmer's back when he returned. He didn't give it to the old man to give to the dog. He gave it straight to the dog. because he had always loved animals. He gave the dog a large white bone with bits of red meat on it, and before it had a chance to fall on the ground, the dog was chewing on it like it was the only thing that it had ever eaten in its whole life.
This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played 10. He played knick-knack with my hen. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home.
The dog growled and grinned and chewed and fought with the bone, and was too interested in eating to notice that all of the noise it was making was frightening the chickens in the farmer's garden. There was one, a giant of a hen, that had orange and brown feathers all over its back, and one blue feather on its tail. A giant of a hen that was getting very frightened indeed. It started to cluck and its way around the edge of the garden. With every noise that it made, it started to run along the dark path and run towards the old orange wooden seesaw that the farmer's children used to play on when they were little. Some of the chickens had made their nests on the big chair at the end of the seesaw, and when the giant hen got to the other side, it was so heavy that the seesaw tipped down with a great crack, and in the nest on the top of the chair there was an egg. When the seesaw tipped up, the egg flew up into the air, and the hen so loudly that the old man looked just in time to see the egg flying through the air before it hit the ground. He caught it in one of his strong hands, and no sooner had it hit his palm than a baby chicken jumped out of the broken egg. The farmer and the old man had never seen anything like that, and they both laughed and laughed. The dog didn't look because he was too busy enjoying the bone. When they had stopped laughing, the old man took one of the hen's blue feathers and painted a picture of all of the things that he had seen and done that day. The drum, the tree, the hive, the sticks, going up to his bedroom in heaven, the hen and the baby chicken. "What a day!" he said, and he knew that the best thing that he had done was finding a new friend in the dog and making sure that it got its bone.
This old man, he played one. He played knick-knack on my drum. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played two. He played knick-knack on my shoe. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played three. He played knick-knack on the tree. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played four. He played knick-knack on the door. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played five. He played knick-knack on the hive. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played six. He played knick-knack, picking up sticks. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played seven. He played knick-knack up to heaven. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played eight. He played knick-knack on the gate. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played nine. He played knick-knack on a line. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man, he played 10. He played knick-knack with my hen. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. This old man came rolling home. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I caught a fish alive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I let it go.
Because it
again.
bit my finger.
Why did you let it go?
There were lots of little white shells on the soft sandy beach, and the happy smiley boy loved to pick them up before he went fishing. He knew that the water would be wet and salty and very cold, but he wanted to go fishing, so he would have to stand at the edge of the beach in the big waves. He was frightened of sharks, but not frightened enough to stop him being down by the sea and fishing. Someone shouted, "There's a shark in the water! There's a shark in the water! There's a shark in the water!" And everyone could see its dark black fin in the water, and they all, including the little boy, ran out of the crashing waves. But it didn't stop him fishing. He loved fishing, and shark or no shark, he was going to catch fish. The first one that he caught was a blackfish with a red tail, and he put it into his rusty bucket that bobbed up and down in the waves by the side of the soft-shell sandy beach. The next fish that he caught was brown and shiny, and he put that in the bucket as well. After that he pulled another brown and shiny fish out of the water, and his bucket was nearly full. "There's just room for one more fish," he said as he cast his line out into the sea. The fish that was on the end of his hook was tiny, with a big spiky tail. The boy was sad to see such a small fish, but when he went to take it off the hook, it bit his little finger so hard that he screamed, "Ow! He's biting me finger!" He had hoped to catch big fish, and he screamed again, "That's not the fish that I wanted, that's not my fish!" And he jumped and splashed so much in the sea that he knocked his old bucket over, and all of the fish that he had caught swam away back into the sea. He was very sad now, after having caught so many fish. If anyone asked him why he didn't have any fish, he would say, "Because it bit my finger." So it did. It bit my finger.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I caught a fish alive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I let it go again. Why did you let it go? Because it bit my finger so.
Once I caught a fish alive. The stream was fast and wide, and the good girl was using her fishing rod to catch fish. She had short, straight hair, and she loved being by the side of the river. On the end of a fishing line, she had a sharp hook with a juicy, wriggly worm on the end, and she threw the line into the middle of the fast-flowing river. She always hoped that a fish would look at the wriggly worm and try to eat it so that she could catch a fish. She saw a tiny red fish going up and down in the water, and she hoped that she could catch it. It kept swimming away, but then it came closer and, with its tail going up and down, it came closer to the worm. It might have been tiny, but it took a big bite out of the sandy worm, and it liked the way that it tasted. So it took another bite, and then another bite. The girl thought that she could hear the worm going, Yum, I like the taste of worms," as it took an enormous bite and was caught on the hook. As she tried to reel the line in, the fish got bigger and fatter and wriggled more than the worm had. She was a good strong girl, but not strong enough to keep the worm on the hook when it wriggled faster and faster. The last she saw of the fish was its big tail going up and down in the water as it swam away from her.
Once I caught a fish alive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I let it go again. Why did you let it go? Because it bit my finger so. Which finger did it bite? This
Crocodiles
finger
and sharks.
on my right.
With her pink hair and her glasses, everyone knew this tall, thin woman as she went to fish on the sandy, pebbly beach. There was seaweed on all of the rocks and crabs in the pools if you looked, but she wanted to catch fish. Far away on the top of the blue, wavy water, there were boats coming into the harbour as she went to fish. In the water, all she could see were 6 fish dancing and dashing and swimming in the sea, and she wanted to catch as many of them as she could. Her first catch was an orange fish with a little yellow tail. Then she caught another little fish, but it was blue and shiny. She was catching the fish one at a time, and when she touched the fish it made her feel cold, and she wanted to catch them all, and quickly. One of the fish came close to her and squirted icy cold salty water into her face. She was sad because she was cold and not catching the fish quickly enough, and the fish were sad because they didn't want to get caught at all. She had heard stories about crocodiles, sharks and dolphins that liked to swim in the sea, and when she was squirted again, her foot slipped on the slippery green seaweed and the fish got away. The fish swam away as quickly as they could, because they'd heard the same stories about the crocodiles and sharks and dolphins, and they didn't want to get eaten. She never went down to the sea again, because she was so sad that she'd let the fish get away, and she really didn't like the idea of crocodiles and sharks, but she would have liked to have had a ride on a dolphin.
One, two, three, four, five. Once I caught a fish alive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I let it go again. Why did you let it go? Because it bit my finger so. Which finger did it bite? This little finger on my right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I caught a fish alive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I let it go again. Why did you let it go? Because it bit my finger so. Which finger did it bite? This little finger on my right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I caught a fish alive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I let it go again. Why did you let it go? Because it bit my finger so. Which finger did it bite? This little finger on my right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I caught a fish alive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I let it go again. Why did you let it go? Because it bit my finger so. Which finger did it bite? This little finger on my right.
Big grey fishing rod, a cold man with a stripy jacket, dark water, happy because he catches blue and yellow fish. A big boat on the dark blue water, stormy water, black rain, hiding in the house because he doesn't have a white umbrella. 1 and 1 makes 2. I don't know what to do. 1 and 2 makes 3. Would you play with me? 1 and 3 makes 4. I really like to draw. 1 and 4 makes 5. I like to dance and jive.